So hey friends, welcome to this week's video. And you're probably seeing this way after my Japan trip, but that's the reason why I'm wearing the exact same clothes as last week's video, is because all of these intros were shot at the exact same time. But this week, we are gonna be going over the adventure. And we've done the smaller adventure for the carry-on before, so if you haven't seen that video, check the link above. But this time, we got the biggest boy in the block. We got this 28-inch guy. Look how big he is. Like gigantic. You can fit everything, and you're gonna be able to expand it. So you're gonna get like 100-something liters out of this thing. But I wanted to get this because, one, I'm gonna use it for Japan. So when talking with Level 8, I was like, what's the biggest thing you got? I wanna bring back a bunch of gifts. So that's what we're gonna do with this guy. So they were also very cognizant of the fact that they gave me a black one, and I really wanted to check out the Celadon. So they gave me this beautiful colorway. And as we talked about, this comes in a yellow, this comes in a black, but this one was particularly super pretty, and I really, really like it. So thank you, Level 8, for giving me something that's a little bit more flashy. Love showing y'all that colorway because, again, to me, black luggage is boring. So give me something that I can easily find on the rotatable luggage claim. So hopefully this will help me because I generally don't have issues, thanks to Level 8, when finding my luggage. But there's plenty to talk about, so let's get into the features of this and how we're gonna pack it for Japan. All right, before we start talking about the insides of the large guy, I do wanna just do a little size comparison. So this is the 20-inch that we did before. Relatively small, a little bit more chunkier and less sleek than some of the other carry-ons, but super expandable. Again, if you haven't seen the review, check the links for that. This one is a great one that I had to a New York trip, but this one is significantly bigger. Again, over 100 liters of capacity in this one, where this one's like up to 50, up to 45-ish. So definitely a big difference in sizes that you're dealing with. But we'll get a little bit more into that later. But let's talk about cracking this guy open and all the features. Starting with the exterior. Starting with the top, you have the same Baker McCrollan exterior that you see in a lot of Level 8 cases. Super durable, very scratch resistant, pretty scuff proof as well. Corners you should be a little bit careful with, but they did blunt these off really nicely, so they shouldn't get as much damage as some of the older models that you've seen from Level 8. Stretchy handles, very comfortable. Hopefully you won't need to be using these because you'll be carrying a lot, but again, this makes it really easy for bag handlers, but also just to get inside of a taxi later. But yeah, overall very nice. Then if we go to the back, the lovely wide handle. When we go on the inside, we'll show you why that's amazing, but you also have this just giant handle here that provides stability on rolling such a large, chunking guy, right, that we have. And then if you go here and there's just some nice bumps and bumpers here to make sure that you can keep the case off of the ground, keep it a little bit cleaner, and that you don't scuff up your bag. So overall construction on the outside, very, very nice. Let's get into the lid and the wheels. Moving on to those wheels, you have some swivels and just nice casters. Level 8 does wheels just amazingly. No matter where I've taken them, through gravel, through airports, through dust, whatever, they've held up really well. The only thing that really breaks off is just the logo here a bit, but the smooth and rideability of this never really gets affected, and they just are an amazing ride. Let's give you a little sample of how these sound when rolling around. And just like the 20-inch, the 28-inch has the same expandability feature that will really be good for you overpackers or people that like to do a lot of shopping when they're on vacation. By zipping all the way around, you make this a 96-liter capacity into 105. So that'll give you a ton more shopping capabilities, a ton more packing capabilities, and just a ton more flexibility. So if you don't know what your trip's gonna throw at you, having this extended capacity capability is just kind of a nice convenience, so you can be a little bit more reactive with what you're gonna do throughout your trip. And as we crack this guy open, again, you have TSA lock zippers. You're gonna see what's inside of the lid. And the lid is kind of nice because it has its own storage capability, but you get exposed to this giant coffin of a storage space. Just so much space in there with flaps and compression to help you get everything you might need. So let's open this, or like at least flip it on its side and show you how I'm gonna pack this for Japan. So what I really like about this lid is that it has this suspension straps that keep the lid from flying away. So this is really nice if I want to grab something really quick or if I want to use it for packing. You can always take them off. So if you want more space to pack the main compartment, you can always use this clip here and give yourself some space. Always clip it back really easily. But I do like that because like right now this is packed with all of my light clothing. So this is my gym clothes, my underwear, my socks, my sleeping gear, all that sort of stuff is in here. And it's just a really nice compartment that just is perfect on the top, especially because it just compresses everything down, but also gives me a little cushion for anything that might be fragile here. This has been really good if I was coming from Hong Kong with that mahjong set. Looking at the interior here, just a ton of space, nicely lined with Level 8 branded stuff, but there is a nice pocket on the side for additional toiletries, electronics, things that you want to kind of store and separate from the main compartment. So I'll have to figure out what I'm going to put there. Probably going to be a little bit of electronics, to be honest. And then they also have these flaps, which is great because I've always used these to put like jewelry, or I've also put like my pills. So if like I was sick and I had to do like a DayQuil, NyQuil regimen, it's always nice to put those pills or supplements in there. Again, there's one on the other side too, so any accessories that you don't mind checking in are great. Again, and on the carry-on, these are great because this is an accessory pouch, but you may want to use this for socks or underwear or something that you won't mind checking in as much. So you just have so much space. Let me show you guys how I'm going to pack this inside and what I'm going to bring to Japan. And if we're being honest, we're going to Japan, so I'm likely going to be bringing back a bunch of stuff. So I want to have this trunk available to bring all that stuff back. So what are we going to do? We're going to take the 20-inch carry-on adventure and stick it inside of the 28. The best part is it actually lays flat with a little bit of finagle, and if you push it all the way to the top, you have plenty of room here for shoes and other things. Let me try to situate this a little bit better. Yeah, a bunch of space here. So I can put in a pair of size 11.5s. I can put in a pair of dress shoes. And even a slim pair of workout shoes. Amazing, that's insane. And I still have plenty of space to cinch this down. If I wanted to, I could put more clothes here, I could expand it. There's a ton of capabilities here. I'm just trying to stay within the limits. So let me try to just make this tactical. Throw some socks in here. Throw some dress socks and bonnets in here. And then boom, it closes. Just make sure the suppression straps are in there, and boom, you can zip this guy closed really easy. And again, for you overpackers, this thing is super flexible, so should not be an issue getting this lid down. Boom. Alrighty, so here's the real test. How much does this boy weigh fully packed? Not even fully packed, but like packed to what I need. I'm gonna say that this big boy 28-incher is 13.9 pounds, while the inside 20-incher is around 9 pounds. So I'm basically sacrificing half of my payload just for the luggage portions, but again, I'll have benefits of that later. So let me get a tare on this one. 51-ish, like around 50. Basically 50 pounds. So I'm gonna do a little bit of adjustment here and see what I can do to get it under, but literally fits everything I need, even when I'm planning for bringing back a bunch of stuff.
The Adventure is 29 inches tall, 17.3 inches wide, and 14.2 inches deep unexpanded. It's slightly bigger than the Luminous, but it doesn't look like that due to its lid and lines. While in Japan, we started the trip loaded up with our carry-ons inside of our larger suitcase, just for ease of transport and to be able to navigate a little bit easier. This was also better for the smaller rooms that were there in Japan.
First leg of the trip is done. I've already had to use the expansion because I have the better luggage, and I guess I'm carrying all of Samika's souvenirs already. So we'll see how this goes when I actually take out the other luggage. There's gonna be plenty of space, but for now, the expansion is good for keeping us all in one bag.
However, this was short-lived once we hit Kanazawa and Omicho Market. It forced us to separate the adventurers from each other, which I thought was going to be a pain, but it actually wasn't that bad, and they rolled next to each other quite nicely in one hand. What really surprised me is that despite its big size, the 28-inch adventurer still fit into the trunk of the small taxis in Kanazawa. Even the staff at the hotel were surprised to pull out such large luggages. In our hotel in Kanazawa, the rooms were slightly bigger, but not by much. Walking paths were still very narrow, so it was a little bit hard to park our bags. With clamshells, the weight is distributed on both sides of the luggages, making it difficult to prop up on walls sometimes. Luckily with the Adventure series, the flip top solves that by having all the weight in one area and having a lightweight lid that can easily be propped up for access. Added bonuses of having two luggages like this, I could stack the carry-on on top of the check-in and easily access items from there as well. It really helped me plan out the legs of my travel better, especially when I had to expand to two luggages. Review of how I separated the payloads. For the carry-on, I packed in what I'd need for the next leg of our trip, some camera gear, and some other things I bought in stores in the market, like some soju and some champagne that we wanted to bring to the Airbnb. In the check-in was a combination of things I wouldn't be using anymore and things I didn't need readily. So my other shoes, my laundry cube, my cube for other outfits later in the trip, my garment bag that I wouldn't be using anymore, my gaming handheld, and my toiletries. The 28-inch Adventure was awesome to have this catch-all in Japan. Anything I didn't need, anything I picked up in shopping, all could fit in this case while having the carry-on for immediate needs and fragile items I wanted to monitor most closely. Size-wise, obviously this thing's not going to fit in overhead luggage storage, but it was fine for storage in the back of trains. But ensure you get the tickets with the extended storage or get there early for your train to ensure that you get these areas for bigger bags. We traveled during Golden Week, so it's a little bit more difficult, but we were able to avoid these issues by getting earlier trains and arriving early as well. In terms of the wheels, they handled terrain of the various cities like a champ. They were extremely easy to roll on 4-wheel mode, and I rarely needed to pull it on 2. The only areas where rolling was an issue was in Kanazawa, where the hotel had a very high pile plush and luxury carpet. Other than that, the wheels took a beating and didn't stop their smooth and quiet operation. While they may even roll a little bit too well. When I was testing the sturdiness of this case by sitting on it, the wheels wanted to roll and almost took me with them.
Oh my god, start rolling. I'm rolling away. I'm rolling away.
Just be careful on smooth and slanted surfaces, I guess. My final loadout at the end of this trip was all of my clothes and jewelry, my garment duffel bag, a pair of dress shoes, a pair of sneakers, a pair of workout shoes, a cube for all my personal shopping, and all the gacha prizes we won. My toiletries, fragile and perishable items, and gifts to others were in my carry-on luggage. This was all without the bags fully extended, so I could definitely fit in more, but I wanted to stay within the weight limits for the flight. So looking back and seeing how it behaved in Japan and how it looks coming back from the trip, this thing is almost flawless looking. This has stayed clean. This went through a bunch of different transits, from taxis to cabs to shuttles to airplanes. It's been through everything, and it really looks like it's brand new. It's crazy. Like, we've tested a bunch of stuff from Level 8 and some other luggages as well, and they always come back with some kind of scuffs, especially around the corners. And I'm not gonna say the corners aren't scuffed, like you can see here. There's a little scuffing on the edge, but nothing crazy. Like, that is cleanable, I'm pretty sure, with just like a magic eraser for a little bit. And then like a little dry. Like, that's gone. That's like absolutely gone. That was like zero pressure almost. With other ones, we've had to scrub them down. We had to use, steel brushes and all that. I think just the way they've sort of blunted off the ends has just made it a lot more easy to clean. It doesn't get smashed as hard. It doesn't get damaged. Like, there's almost no scratches. The biggest damage that I did retain was on the handle. So on the areas that it's not Baker McCrollan, again, this went through planes and trains and all that other stuff, but randomly with the shuttle that we went on, it got hit with something.
and it got messed up. My thought is it got hit by another luggage that had a little bit sharper end on it, but it did get gashed up. Nothing that's gonna make this uncomfortable because my hand's usually in the middle here, but just, you know, an aesthetical thing to think about. But everything else is essentially flawless, which is crazy to me. The one thing that I will want to say about this is flying with this. This is obviously going to get you way more than 50 pounds. So if you're flying and you're trying to hit that weight limit, it's going to go over. If you max this out, this is going to be like 100 pounds. Like, you can fit so much crap in here. It's insane. What I would say is this is perfect for Japan and those sort of things because you can kind of get away with one luggage for a very long time. You'll just have to figure out how to unload it for your flight. But if you want to stay one luggage all in one place, like, you can get really, really far with just this. So, like, keeping that in cognizant of that, I think in the future, if I was to go back to Japan, I might just bring this guy like kind of almost empty. Like, just my main clothes, which would probably take up like 1/4 of the capacity, and then just pack it in with whatever I want. Because I think the biggest thing that I was worried about was, oh, I'm going to go over the limit, so let's bring another case. I didn't really need to do that. I could have just got I could have thrown in a duffel in here and probably got away with it that way. But yeah, this thing's huge. This is going to accommodate everything you might need, anything you might buy. Holy moly, I was just impressed with that. So, but again, weight limits is something you have to figure out, but you can pack in additional, like, you know, softer stuff to, like a duffel or a tote, to like help you with that flying part of the trip. But don't worry about it. Like, bring this along. In terms of final thoughts, I'm going to say that this is now my new favorite Level 8 luggage. And it was the Voyager for the longest time. My yellow guy, if you haven't seen the review on that, we went to Spain with that. I love that. I've been using that ever since. This is my new go-to. This is like, this fits everything, and it's only 2 pounds heavier, but it's also 2 inches bigger than the Voyager. I just love this. It's amazing. So, like, I don't think you guys should hesitate if you're looking for a new check-in that will literally cover all of your bases on all of your travel. Pick it up. There'll be a link on the description below. I have a little bit of a 10% down there for you as well if you're looking for a code on the website, if there's not some sort of promotion going on from Level 8. Again, always check out their website during like holidays. They always have some great deal, like 20% off or more, or some free gifts or something like that. So check them out. They have plenty of stuff that'll meet your needs, but this is now my new favorite. Anyway, thank you guys so much for keeping up with the reviews. I think we're gonna take a break from, nope, never mind. We still have more luggage and stuff to go through, so we're definitely gonna go through that, but we will throw in some other stuff like shoes and things that we got in Japan. We'll also throw in some clothes and also some tech that we kind of liked along the way, so stay tuned for that. But if you could, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that you normally do on a video that you like and love, and as always, I appreciate you. Peace. See you very soon.